The start of 2025 is just hours away, and if you are planning to start the new year off fresh with a new goal, many of us do set New Year's resolutions. Studies show up to 70% of people who make New Year's resolutions tend to give up on them within 3 months. So how can you set a good one and then keep it all year long? We're bringing back our local licensed counselor, Dr. Deirdre Adduci, to give us some helpful advice. Dr. Adduci, surveys show, I saw one from Statista yesterday that was all over the news, that the top resolutions for 2025, they are save more money, which we talked about with a financial expert, but then also eat healthier, exercise more, spend more time with your friends and your family. What's the best way to pick out a New Year's resolution? There's so many choices.
Well, whatever you choose, have a GPS, a way to get there, because oftentimes that 70% who give up on it or don't follow through, it's because they don't have a plan with how to get there. So they have the overall goal, but they don't know how they're going to get there. How am I going to follow through with this? What are the specifics, and how will I know when I succeed?
That's a good thought, because if you pick one that's way out of reach, you know, you'll be more upset if you don't get there. But we want to make sure we keep our resolution. So how do you make sure you stick with it all year long? What are some good ways to keep it top of mind?
Well, have guideposts. For instance, if someone says, I'm going to lose weight, which is a big one, then have a guidepost. A, how am I going to get there? What changes very specifically am I going to make? It's not enough just to paint it with a large paintbrush and say, I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to spend more time with family. What are specific things that I can do to get there, and how will I know? For instance, I am going to walk X amount per day. That's one way I'll do it. So, or I'm going to see a nutritionist, etc. So have specific ways that you can see that you're getting there.
And what's a fun way maybe to do it too? Could you journal or keep little notes around the house? I mean, what are some fun ways to remember, oh, I have that resolution, don't forget about it?
Celebrate small victories. So instead of saying, oh, I'm going to lose weight and I'm only going to feel good at the end, celebrate those small victories and tell yourself, when I get here, when I lose 2 pounds, I'm going to celebrate that. In what way? Spend time with my family, or whatever you deem as a reward.
Okay, good advice. Now, if you slip up, let's say you miss a workout, you eat a bad meal, or you don't achieve part of your goal to get to your resolution, I mean, should you just give up right then and there, or is it okay to fall off track and get back on track?
It's normal to fall off. It doesn't have to be, we don't have to expect it, but it is normal, and it's progress, not perfection. So we're always looking for that direction of progress. When a GPS, when you get lost, it redirects you, and that's what we want to look for. So remember, the word of the day is just your GPS, your direction. If you get lost, if you fall off, get back on, redirect yourself.
Okay. Now, as you start the new year, a lot of folks, maybe they don't set a resolution per se, but they want to have a refresh. They want to start the new year feeling like they're ready to go after those goals. What's a good way to set out and do that, and what should you think about? What areas of life?
Well, wherever you feel that there is a deficit, and be reasonable with yourself, because oftentimes when I hear resolutions, people are trying to exert changes in all areas of their life. Maybe pick several, because when we are too grand with all of our goals, oftentimes we don't have that specific GPS or directions to get there. So just be very clear about what you want and celebrate the victories along the way.
And how can we have maybe the best New Year resolution when it comes to our mental health? Something you focus on heavily. What are some things we can all do to lower stress, have a good mindset, keep our mental health in check?
I would say spend more time on the basics instead of the outliers and obtaining more and doing more. What about basics? Time with myself, time at church, time with my family, time reading, doing some things that are just really basic instead of more outlandish or grand. Get back to basics, and then you can go from there.
Okay, definitely a lot to think about, as 2025 is literally hours away. Hard to believe.
It really is.
Ready for a new year, but we've got plenty of ideas on how to get to maybe a new goal or hit the refresh button. Thank you so much for joining us, as always.
Of course.